Hey, I'm Andrew Hales. Welcome to another edition of Chatting With. Today I'm here with Dr. Joshua Guillaume. He's located in Los Angeles.
Hello, pleasure to be on.
Cosmetic dentist.
That's right.
You've been a dentist for about 7 years now.
About 7 years, 2012.
Is flossing really that important? It feels like no one flosses.
It doesn't feel like nobody flosses. People don't floss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like none of your patients floss.
That I know of, a handful of them floss, but for the most part, they don't floss as much as they should.
Yeah.
Let's keep it at that. Maybe here and there.
Do you floss?
I floss, also not as much as I should.
Yeah. Do you use an electric toothbrush?
Here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Sonicare. I have an Oral-B. I mean, they give them out to us. But
yeah, do you think that electric makes a difference?
It does. If you use it properly and you're so this is the situation with brushing.
Yeah.
It is more difficult to use a manual and get it right, but if you know how to get it right and you're comfortable with it, you can do it. The electric one kind of makes it a little bit easier to do it right.
Huh.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
They have the same thing with flossing. They have a water pick that helps you, it's like a water flosser.
Wow. I feel like that would be dangerous, like on the gums, and it'd be like cutting them.
Yeah, it blasts a shoot of water. It isn't that sharp to be, damaging the gums, but if you know how to use like traditional floss better, then that's better than the water flossing. But also, people don't know how to floss either the correct way.
When you floss, yeah, and it bleeds, that means you don't do it enough.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. You don't do it enough, or the gums are a little inflamed. Perhaps there is some bacteria under there that needs to be cleaned. So most of our patients if they haven't had a cleaning in a while,
yeah,
there's probably some tartar under there. And even if you floss every single day forever, if they don't get the foundation cleaned and that inflammation down, it will always bleed.
Have you done stuff with veneers?
Veneers is what I typically do only.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, these are veneers I got in 2013. Yeah. These four.
How do you like them?
I love them.
Yeah.
They changed my life.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's I got into dentistry because I chipped my tooth in high school, and it was right before prom that it happened. And a friend of a friend knew a dentist who I went in on a Saturday night, got it fixed right before.
Whoa. And
because it was a big deal. My date's like, we can't take pictures like that. Like that's.
Yeah.
So it was a game changer.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of what's got you.
That's how I started. My early aspiration was to go into like medicine, like medical doctor, but this was like the hands-on approach to doing that. That was way cooler, I thought.
How much schooling is dentistry?
4 years.
After bachelor?
After 4 years. 4 years after the 4-year bachelor.
When you put veneers on a tooth, sometimes I feel like it's like my real tooth is rotting underneath the veneer or something.
We actually get this question a lot. So I'll post, a before and after on Instagram, and we'll get a bunch of comments, XYZ, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
A typical one is, what happens to the teeth underneath? Are they going to rot? It's essentially similar to getting a filling done. If it's done the right way, if the doctor performing the procedure does it right, the tooth is completely sterile and clean underneath, the veneer is bonded on correctly, totally sealed, nothing could get in under there. Okay. You may, in 10 or 20 years, see a little bit of staining around the gum line where the veneer and the tooth underneath meet, but it isn't necessarily the tooth rotting underneath.
When's the best time to go to the dentist?
Like what age?
Well, it's a joke. It's tooth hurty.
Gotcha.
Have you heard that? Oh. Have you never heard that?
I've never heard that.
Oh, I would imagine like you're always getting that.
I need to post that.
Okay, you're stranded on an island and you have a toothache and an ice skate. What do you do?
I've seen it.
How would you handle that situation?
I would have probably done the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So the writers kind of got it right as far as accuracy.
We've had patients come in who have that same tooth pain.
Yeah.
They've had 5 kids before that, and they said this tooth pain compared to their labor pain was 100 times worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
No epidural either.
Have you ever had like a tooth ache, I guess, or
myself? One time.
Okay.
One time. So I was
and
playing basketball.
You had to get it taken out?
No. So if he wasn't stranded on an island, he would go to, I think it was Dr. Spalding, or who was his dentist in the movie?
I don't know. Yeah.
And he would gone in and had a root canal done. Essentially, what had happened to him was the cavity went into the nerve of the tooth. The nerve was getting infected, so he felt the pain. The only option there was to pop the tooth out. Here, you would go to an endodontist and have the nerve of the tooth taken out. So you would get a root canal.
Okay. Are those kind of pricey?
Ranges $1,000 to $2,000.
Is each dentist just different? Like some are more greedy than others as far as charging for stuff?
I wouldn't say greedy. I would say the location. So if you're going to go into somewhere in middle America where the rent is much lower and the overhead for the office is much lower, you can get incredible dental work from a specialist who doesn't have that, his expenses aren't that high, so you can get a better deal.
Okay.
Versus if you go into a super high-end area,
right,
the overhead is higher.
Yeah. The worst teeth you've ever seen, like what? Do you have any stories like that?
Absolutely. So when I was in dental school, I went to USC. So it's in South LA. We work with a lot of the inner city population around there, and my career actually began seeing kids. That's the route I thought I was going to end up in, because I didn't want to deal with adults and they all hate the dentist, and I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want the first thing that people were going to tell me is, "Hey, I hate the dentist." But when you go to when you see kids, it's more about, they have baby teeth. It's just fun and games. You'll give them a toy and you like it.
Yeah.
However, in some of the schools that I went to, the oral hygiene education wasn't as popular as it should have been. So kids weren't brushing their teeth. They were going to bed with milk, and grandparents were babysitting, and they would give them sodas. So that would rot their teeth completely. So you would see a 3-year-old with missing all their teeth.
Well, aren't the baby teeth, they don't even matter, right?
So the baby teeth, they matter.
Well, no, they're just going to fall out anyway.
They are going to fall out, but they don't fall out until the kid's 7 or 8 years old. So they need to have those teeth from 2 to about 7. Earliest 6, some of them start to fall out. And then the molars way in the back, like their baby molars, you keep some of those till you're around 10, 11. So yes, you're going to get a new set, but for a considerable amount of time, you're going to have those baby teeth. And if they rot, you can have an infection, and that infection is in your head, basically, in your throat, and it's dangerous. Put it this way, more children die from dental complications, because when dentistry and dental infections get really big and they have to go to see a dentist, they sometimes need to be put under, and that anesthesia mixed with all the amount of work that they need to do leads to more accidents in children than it does for adults.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not something to mess with.
So you deal a lot with laughing gas.
We do a lot of nitrous gas.
How safe is nitric?
Very safe.
Yeah. Can you overdose on it?
Not really. I mean, we don't want to be on it.
Is that the same as Whippets, with a whipped cream can that people do?
Similar, like at parties and stuff. Similar. Yeah. This one we mix it with oxygen, and it's titrated and it's leveled out, so it's pretty safe.
Are you just sucking on that all day?
So when the patients come in and they're totally scared,
yeah,
we give them some. But when we get the new tanks, sometimes we set them up, and my assistants and we try it out a bit.
Yeah.
Make sure that it works. We actually put in a new unit, so we tried it out. Can
the general public buy those for themselves?
No.
Okay.
No, there was a case where a dental assistant stole a tank from the office that he worked at and took it to a party and filled up balloons with it.
Yeah. Well, I went to Russia, and they hand out balloons with them, I think, at bars. And and I was just doing it, whatever.
It's interesting. You get
I think it's maybe different legalities in different countries.
Maybe.
So, how many on average? What percentage of people are anxious when they come in?
A huge percent.
Yeah.
I'd say
over 50%.
Or the majority of people, including myself, I don't want to be in the dentist chair.
Yeah.
As soon as you get there, there's a tray next to you filled with sharp instruments that are going into, I'd say, the second most intimate part of your body.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
Do you go to the dentist, or do you operate on yourself?
Depends what it is. I'll do my own checkups here and there. I'll have my assistant take my x-rays. I'll go through them. We have a hygienist who does the cleaning, so she does my cleanings. And I have a ton of colleagues and friends. My younger brother's a dentist, so they do my checkups.
Have you heard this thing about high suicide rates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is that a rumor, or?
I thought it was a rumor, and then I spoke to some people and they said it's true.
Huh.
It's going down now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Do you have any idea?
So you're in a high. Part of it is you're in a high stress, situation all the time. You're working in a tiny area of someone's mouth. But most of the reason is, and most of why it is true, is because dentists feel like they're underappreciated. So patients come in, and the first thing they hear is they don't like the dentist. So, for example, you would think like a plumber or a trash man probably hates his job a little bit more because they're dealing with a dirtier situation. But when you see the plumber coming in, he comes in and saves you, saves the situation. Or the trash guy's helping you out. But the dentist is more of like, I don't want to be here.
Right. Yeah. It's like, so they're just kind of dealing with a lot of negative energy and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does everyone need to go to the dentist?
You definitely need to go to the dentist. I'd advise at least twice a year.
Really?
Yeah. The American Dental Association recommends twice a year to have your checkups done. X-rays at least once a year.
Okay.
There's like a huge taboo about getting X-rays, but they're totally safe once a year. And most of the offices now are using digital X-rays that have 90% lower, radiation exposure than the traditional X-rays.
Okay.
Standing outside in the sun for a few minutes is way more exposure.
Twice a year. I haven't been in like 2 years. Yeah. So but I feel fine. My teeth look fine. So why should I go?
So your teeth don't really have a good way of communicating with you. So they're not going to tell you there's an issue until it's too late. So you have the nerve inside your tooth, and then you also have like your gums that have some nerve endings. Until the bacteria gets all the way down into the nerve, or until you have a significant infection, is really only when your body's going to tell you that there's a problem.
Okay.
So most of dentistry, if you go twice a year, is preventative. So a lot of patients always talk about going to the dentist is so expensive. Like, why are you guys, charging so much? Dentistry is not, going to the dentist is not that expensive. If you take care of it, it won't cost you anything. If you need dental work from not going to the dentist or neglecting, that's when it gets a little expensive.
I've heard fluoride is bad. What do you think?
It's very controversial. So the American Dental Association has reported, and there have been studies done from Harvard that are peer-reviewed journal articles. Like they set the foundation for what is credible. And fluoride, the levels that are put into some of the tap water in LA, the fluoride that is in mouthwash, in toothpaste, in some other dental products is safe. It's deemed safe. There are a lot of reports from third-party websites and other more, I would say, holistic institutions.
Yeah, conspiracy theorists.
That talk about how fluoride is harmful and, neurotoxin and things like that. But I think at high doses, absolutely. The same with anything in high doses. Like even the air that we breathe, it has like nitrogen. High concentrations of nitrogen is also toxic.
One of the Twitter questions was like, where do they put their eyes? Do they look just right at you, or like, or do they close them? Or
so we have a few things. We have TVs around the office. We have glasses that we provide. Some people, they close their eyes. Some people fall asleep. Some people will put to sleep, so we'll sedate them.
Yeah.
Occasionally, there are patients that they don't want to watch anything or listen to anything, so they'll close their eyes. They'll look up. Sometimes they're looking into my eyes. It's a little awkward.
Yeah.
I catch them.
It's funny. I remember as a kid, it would be annoying when the dentist like tried to talk to me because I can't.
Yeah. No. Once I'm working, I'm in the zone. I don't want them to talk because I'm working on their teeth, and if they begin to start talking, their tongue can get cut up. And I try to avoid asking them questions as well.
Let's see. Candy, sugar. Sugar's the number one culprit, right?
It's huge. Sugary foods and acidy, fizzy, bubbly drinks.
Okay.
Sodas, definitely. Sodas and sugar. So if you're having like these energy drinks that are high sugar and highly carbonated.
Okay, so LaCroix is even worse than like just normal water?
So so I am a huge sparkling water drinker. Like,
okay.
But like Perrier, things that don't have a lot of sugar in it, and on its own it isn't too bad. But some of that carbonation could dissolve the enamel slightly.
Yeah.
So everything is good in moderation. So I guess we can talk about like why is it bad for you? What, leads to problems? And that's the enamel is very delicate. So the foundation of getting a cavity is the bacteria that's in your mouth naturally. It needs to eat, so it'll feed on sugary foods, and those sugary foods lead to the bacteria letting out acid as a waste product. That acid is breaking down your enamel. So if you combine that with acid in your diet, now your enamel that's trying to fight off this bacteria's acid is already weakened itself. So that's what happens when you get a cavity. A cavity is a hole in your tooth, and that hole is filled with the bacteria that's creating that hole.
Oh. What percentage of people have to eventually get dentures, would you say?
The population now, it's very rare.
Oh.
I see. So the baby boomer population, people a little bit older, in their 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, oral hygiene and like dental care wasn't that popular, 60 years ago.
Okay.
So,
my grandpa had
our
dentures.
parents, our grandparents, when they were younger, going to the dentist was new. I mean, dentistry was pretty new. Going to the dentist wasn't always that available. And
not everyone brushed their teeth as much.
Not everybody brushed their teeth.
Yeah.
Teeth didn't matter.
Yeah.
That was very popular. That was a very popular saying.
Yeah.
And now, especially with like dental implants, even if you're losing teeth, you can get new ones implanted, so you don't need to wear a denture.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not.
The last thing you want is to have a glass of water with teeth in it.
Yeah.
By your bed every night.
Oh yeah, man. So they still do that, but it's just kind of an old-fashioned thing now.
Yeah, it's still pretty common in lower income areas because dental implants and things like that they're still expensive, so it's difficult to afford.
How much is a full set of implants? Say like I just got curb stomped and I have no teeth.
So if you don't have any teeth, you might be able to get a deal from something because it's getting very, very corporatized. So you can get deals. So it's similar. Like you can go and get the Ferrari of implants and teeth.
Okay.
For $100,000, or you can go and get I don't know. I gotta be delicate with this. Maybe the Kia.
Yeah.
The Kia of dental.
The Walmart.
The Walmart, sure. That's a better option. Yeah, I mean, there's McDonald's type of dentistry.
Yeah.
And then there's super high end, like you have Mastro's steak.
Right.
So the lower end, maybe 20 or 30 grand.
Huh.
For a whole new set of permanent teeth.
That's not too bad.
It isn't too bad.
Do you think mouthwash is a good idea?
Mouthwash is all right.
Yeah.
Mouthwash is mostly just to
freshen your breath. Not clean your teeth.
Not cleaning your teeth.
Because I'm trying to, I feel like it helps get inside the gums, and it's almost like a substitute for
It'll
flossing.
cleanse, and it reduces the load of bacteria, so it helps you, freshen your breath.
Mm-hmm.
But you need like physical removal of like particles of like food and bacteria and tartar and plaque.
Have you ever put on a grills?
I have put on grills.
Really?
Yeah.
It was like a celebrity?
It wasn't so much celebrity. Some of it is for like Halloween style.
Huh.
We've had a few, like rapper types that want to get that going.
Yeah.
For a photo shoot, things like that.
They're not permanent. They take them in and out.
There are some that are permanent. The type that we put on where you can take them on and off.
If it's all silver or gold.
This was gold, yeah.
Wow. So that's pricey.
Pretty pricey.
You ordered is it like a special gold or it's just solid gold?
There's dental grade gold.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like still 98% gold though?
It's still, I don't know if it's 98%. I think it's like about 75% gold.
It seems like kind of dangerous walking around and like you got $100,000 in your mouth,
Yeah, it is, but like people are walking around with $100,000 watches that are way easier to get off than the teeth.
Yeah. Not these watches.
No.
This is my watch company. I don't know if you knew about it, but yeah, they're only like $100.
It's you have a watch company?
Yeah, this is my watch company.
Nice.
Yeah, Durden.
Nice.
Have you heard of mewing?
No.
Mewing, it's kind of this thing.
Oh, mewing.
Mewing.
Yes. I just read about that. Actually.
Yeah, is that you believe in that?
It seems interesting. It's mostly if you have it's like a bite correction. Like if you have pretty much you just you keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth for most of your day, and then over years it's supposed to define bring your jaw into the right spot.
Yeah. So
it's it's not. So that's the thing. Like most of the recommendations, or all the recommendations that I make, are backed by years of science and they've researched. So I just saw this on a post. I don't even know where.
Well, I just saw it on YouTube like a month ago. It kind of became this thing a little bit.
Yeah, things that are popular now that I'm not sure how credible they are is using like these charcoal toothpastes.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
You know, to whiten your teeth. What they're doing, and that charcoal is a little abrasive, so it's like removing a layer of your tooth structure. So if something is stained, it's instead of like cleaning the stain, it's removing the layer.
Oh.
So for example, if your wall, you know, something gets on the wall and you want to wipe it off, you're going to use, you know, a cleaning agent to clean it versus using like a rough, like a Scotch-Brite to scrape off the paint.
Yeah.
That's similar to what the charcoal does.
So you don't recommend the charcoal toothpaste?
No.
Wow.
No, definitely not. And the ADA has put out so many different memos about little to no actual like reproducible results of it actually making the teeth whiter versus damaging the enamel.
Oh man.
So the effectiveness is not proven.
When you damage the enamel, can it grow back?
No.
Never?
No.
Wow.
It's the hardest substance in our body, but it's the most fragile too because you don't get it back.
And I've actually heard that there's some toothbrushes with brushes so like strong that can brush off your enamel.
Yeah, so if it's a very hard toothbrush, a very abrasive toothbrush, you can do damage to your enamel and also to your gums. Because that also, if you brush too hard, your gums can recede and that's also very difficult to grow back.
Okay, so just don't brush too hard.
Definitely, you want to put extremely gentle pressure.
Okay, and always up and down, right?
You want to do like figure eight.
Figure eight?
Figure eight, like circular. Yeah, you want to do circular.
Huh. Do most of your patients have bad breath?
Actually, no. I mean, we're in a pretty good area where my patients that are coming to me typically already have a dentist. They're already in pretty good shape, and they're coming for cosmetic stuff. So we don't see it, and there are a lot of for maintenance.
Okay.
If you're in an area where you're mostly operating under like an emergency situation, or the patients there are coming because they have to come there, then that's where you kind of see more bad breath, more bacteria, more cavities, more infections.
Is that why you wear a mask?
You want to wear a mask for a couple of reasons. Yeah, you don't want to catch, whatever they have, so that helps block out some of their saliva, if they have a cold, you don't want to get their spit on you, but you also don't want to give what you have to them.
Okay.
So you don't want to smell their breath, they don't want to smell yours.
Well, this has been great. We covered a lot.
Oh, no, I'm glad.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
No, pleasure. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see. What do you want to shout out? You got a website or Insta?
Yeah. So at Dr. Joshua Guillaume is my Instagram handle.
Great. Yeah. I'll put that on the
name of my office is LA Smiles Dental Spa.
Sweet.
So we have lasmiles.com is our website.
Awesome.
Yeah. If anyone has any questions, they can reach out to me via DM and give our office a call or email. All of our information is on the website too.
Sweet. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. I'll see you next week.